They have to sit with their mouths closed now, and the silence is killing them. An entire community has turned their backs on the very person who orchestrated attacks against you. No one will help them bully you anymore. The law has spoken, and everyone who thought they could gang up on you is learning why heaven keeps receipts. That ringleader at the center, the one who orchestrated this whole spiritual circus against you, sits abandoned while everyone else scatters like roaches when the lights come on. The first thing you need to understand is what's actually happening behind their forced silence. Someone has been told by law to shut up about you, not just suggested, not just advised, legally commanded to keep your name out of their mouth. This isn't one person catching karma. This is an entire community getting served papers they never saw coming. The same mouths that wouldn't stop talking about you now can't say anything without their lawyers present. But here's where it gets delicious. They're having to watch your cup run over while theirs runs dry. That pure blessing of contentment and happiness you're experiencing. They hate it. They despise it. They're choking on it. And the beautiful part is they can't say a single word about it. They literally have to accept whatever this verdict is, whatever this ruling has become. And there's nothing they can do but watch. Let me paint you the full picture of what's unfolding. There's a specific person at the center of this who tried to rile up the rallies against you. They attempted to group people together, get them on board with taking you down, but something fascinating happened. The community looked at the legal ramifications and said, it's not worth it. It's literally not worth it. They've left this person isolated, forcing them to move forward alone. You know what makes this even sweeter? The way they organized against you revealed their own organizational structure. Every meeting they held about you became evidence. Every group chat where your name was mentioned became documentation. Every coordinated action they took left fingerprints all over the crime scene. They built the prosecution's case without realizing they were the defendants. The revelation that's breaking right now is about defamation. This is literal defamation coming through in the legal sense, not spiritual warfare dressed up as concern, not prayer requests disguised as gossip. Actual documented, legally actionable defamation that someone orchestrated against you. And they feel like it's really unfair that they're being held accountable for it. Watch the woe is me energy pouring out of them now. They did not get the results they thought they would. This smear campaign they organized is being proven as exactly what it was. A coordinated attack on your character. There's no competition here anymore. They're realizing there never was competition. You were never competing with them. They were competing with their own projection of who they thought you were. You want to know the most powerful part of your position right now. You didn't have to lift a finger to defend yourself. While they exhausted themselves building cases against you, documenting their lies, spreading their poison, you simply continued being yourself. Your authenticity became their undoing. Your refusal to engage with their drama became the very thing that highlighted their obsession. But let's go deeper into who started this. This is about a relationship that went sour. Someone who had no love lost between you and them managed to rally an entire community to their cause. And here's the kicker. They honestly thought they were going to be victorious. Maybe in the past they have won similar battles. Maybe they've used the law or community pressure to destroy others before. But not this time. Not with you. The sun is illuminating everything now. There's been some sort of block that's happened for this specific person when it comes to defaming and slandering your character, your name, and your actual professional business. Not mind your business, but your literal livelihood. Evidence has come to light that a court, a judge, or a police officer is taking seriously. They're accepting this as evidence against your attackers. You see, when someone attacks your professional life, your means of making money, your reputation in business that crosses from personal vendetta into criminal territory, they thought they were just gossiping, but they were actually committing crimes. They thought they were sharing concerns, but they were building a conspiracy case. Every business contact they tried to turn against you becomes a witness. Every client they attempted to steal becomes evidence. Every professional relationship they tried to poison becomes testimony against them. Someone was definitely trying to bully you. Someone was trying to knock you off your pedestal. That natural authority and abundance you carry triggered something primal in them. The wheel of fortune has reversed for them completely. What they thought was their lucky break in taking you down has become their worst nightmare coming true. The speed at which this is all crashing down on them is breathtaking. You've probably noticed how quickly things shifted. One day they were confident in their campaign against you, the next day silence. One moment they were the righteous ones with community support, the next moment they're alone with legal documents. The universe doesn't always move slowly. When it's time for divine justice, it can happen in the blink of an eye. This is happening fast. Whatever legal action is taking place is overwhelming in its speed and scope. Fast-moving action that's literally detrimental to this specific individual and the entire community that supported them. This ruling is going to affect them in different ways, but every single one of them will feel it. You know what's beautiful about legal consequences? They're public record. Everything they tried to do to you in the shadows is being dragged into the light of a courtroom. Every whisper becomes a documented statement. Every rumor becomes evidence of malice. Every lie becomes perjury if they repeat it under oath. The very shadows they operated in have become the spotlight that exposes them. Think about the psychology of a mob that suddenly realizes they're individually liable. When they were together, they felt invincible. Your singular presence seems small compared to their collective force. But legal systems don't recognize mobs. They recognize individuals. Each person who participated is now facing their own consequences. The group's courage has dissolved into individual terror. Someone is very angry, but more importantly, they haven't healed or learned the lesson from their experience with you. Meeting you, bumping into you, trying to take you down. It was all a karmic lesson they refused to learn. They're literally fighting their own demons while blaming you for their wounds. This person has a grudge against you that goes deep. They have an old way of thinking, what some might call traditional thinking. Very stubborn. They're going to be stubborn until the end, literally digging their own grave with their refusal to stop. You know what's fascinating about stubborn people who refuse to learn? They repeat the same mistakes with increasing intensity. Each time they fail to destroy you, they try harder, leave more evidence, make bigger mistakes. Their stubbornness becomes the very rope they hang themselves with. If they had just stopped after the first failed attempt, they might have escaped consequences, but they couldn't help themselves. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. Someone from your past with outdated thinking keeps replaying events over in their head. They've been in competition with you, but it's not about beauty or surface-level things. There's something about your purity, your innocence, your connection to the divine that they cannot stand. They've been trying to deny that you have a connection to the Most High. Whether you call it God, universe, Allah, source, they've been very vocal about denying your divine connection. Whatever victory comes from this, you're being told to keep your celebrations small. Not because you don't deserve to celebrate or don't deserve justice. Not because you don't deserve to be told you were right and they were wrong. It's because whatever victory comes out of this is going to be someone else's complete downfall. Even though they did it to themselves, stay humble. Don't be prideful about their destruction. Your quiet confidence through all of this has been more powerful than any defense you could have mounted. While they were loud in their attacks, you were quiet in your strength. While they gathered numbers for validation, you stood alone with truth. While they needed group approval for their actions, you needed only your own integrity. This contrast is not lost on those watching. Your silence speaks volumes about your character, while their noise revealed their lack of it. You've probably noticed how much they care about appearances. Every public appearance is calculated. Every social media post is curated. Every interaction is performed. They've built their entire identity on how others perceive them. So when their reputation crumbles, their entire sense of self goes with it. You, on the other hand, built your identity on who you actually are. That's why you remain standing while they fall apart. There's heartbreak happening, but not yours. There's something about you that breaks their mold of what they think a chosen or blessed person should be. They don't like that you have direct connection to the divine. Tried to tear you down, and many people were helping. This is spiritual bullying disguised as religious concern. The religious aspect of this makes it particularly heinous. They use sacred spaces to spread secular lies. They turned prayer circles into gossip rings. They transformed holy gatherings into strategy sessions for your destruction. The very places meant for worship became war rooms against you. This perversion of the sacred for personal vendettas carries its own special kind of consequences. But now they're being told to hush, be quiet, shut their mouths. The community itself has told them to pipe down. It's not just that people are ignoring the ringleader. They've actually said, you need to stop. You need to stop now. Can you imagine the shock of someone who's used to having influence suddenly being told to shut up by their own people? The same voices that once echoed their lies are now telling them to be quiet. The same heads that nodded in agreement are now shaking in disagreement. The same hands that applauded their performance are now pushing them away. You want to understand the depth of their image obsession. They would rather be seen as victims of injustice than admit they were perpetrators of harassment. They're trying to spin this story even now, attempting to make themselves look like the ones being persecuted, but the evidence is too overwhelming. The truth is too documented. Their attempts at image rehabilitation are just digging them deeper. This community feels connected to family. Could be your family or the aggressor's family, but there's an extended unit involved. Someone is very angry that they're not able to continue their campaign against you. They wanted to go on a massive witch hunt, string you up metaphorically, have their righteous anger validated, but it's being exposed as what it really is, bullying. The scatter pattern is telling. Those closest to the ringleader fled first. They knew the most, had the most to lose, saw the writing on the wall earliest. Then the second ring of conspirators disappeared. Now even the peripheral participants are distancing themselves. It's like watching a criminal organization fall apart, each level abandoning the next to save themselves. People are realizing how easily they were duped by somebody at the center of this. They're seeing how easily they were manipulated, how their energy and power were taken away from them. There's stuff this person has been doing that isn't pure, isn't religious, isn't what they preach. They've been projecting onto you everything they've actually been doing themselves. The projection is so complete it's almost therapeutic to analyze. Every single accusation they made against you was a confession. Every moral failing they attributed to you was their own burden. Every spiritual lack they claimed you had was their own emptiness. You became the screen onto which they projected their own shadow. And now everyone can see the show. This is giving major mirror on the wall energy. Pure jealousy. They've been resentful, competitive, and discontent. People are actually seeing this family member for who they really are. A narcissist, egotistical, an opportunist with a fragile ego. You know what's particularly satisfying? Watching a narcissist lose their supply. The attention they craved is now the wrong kind. The admiration they needed has turned to disgust. The control they wielded has evaporated. They're experiencing narcissistic collapse in real time, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. The community that once fed their ego is now starving them of everything they need to maintain their false self. Everyone's moving away from them now. We don't want to be part of this, they're saying, but they already are associated with it. The distance, divorce, ghosting, and separation happening now reveals the truth. You've got a two-faced family member here who's probably trying to get back into your good books. They were trying to set you up for something. The setup was elaborate. They needed you in a specific position, emotionally, financially, or legally, to execute their plan. Every interaction was calculated to move you toward that position. Every conversation had an agenda. Every gesture of kindness had a hidden motive. But you didn't move the way they expected. You didn't react the way they planned. Your refusal to play your assigned role in their scheme ruined everything. The motive reveals everything. Strip away the religious language, the moral posturing, the community concern, and what's left is pure greed. They wanted something you have or something you were going to get, but they couldn't just take it. They needed you discredited first. They needed you broken, isolated, declared unfit. Only then could they swoop in and claim what they wanted, while looking like saviors. They really care what other people think of them, but not just for self-value. It's about money. Being seen in a specific light helps them gain something material. Family, money, blood ties, inner circle benefits. This two-faced person has been living a double life, and they're being exposed as a cheater and backstabber. You may have already blocked this person, moved on with nothing to say, but they're more worried about their reputation being in tatters because now they don't have backup. They felt like they had connections to police, ministers, and religious leaders. They felt upper class or pseudo-middle class, and they've been outed for being fake. The connections they thought they had are severing those ties quickly. Nobody wants to be associated with this scandal. The ministers are clarifying they were deceived. The community leaders are distancing themselves. The people in positions of authority are making it clear they were manipulated. Your attacker is learning that borrowed power evaporates the moment the lenders want their reputation back. The police may be looking at them as a suspect, a person of interest. This is sending shockwaves through the community. That's why there's silence. It's gone from gossip sessions about you to complete quiet. They went from, "Did you hear about them? Such a lost soul. We should pray for them," to, "Oh my God. Did you hear what happened to the person who was attacking them?" The focus has completely changed. All the people who were spiritually attacking you in the name of their religion are backpedaling. "Oh no, we didn't really participate. How did we not see this poor soul getting picked on?" These same people who were talking about you are now talking about your attacker. Watch how they rewrite history to make themselves look better. They were always uncomfortable with how you were being treated. They tried to say something but were ignored. They never really believed the accusations. But you remember who said what, who did what, who stood where when the lines were drawn. Their revisionist history doesn't erase your memory of their eager participation. Now here's the money aspect that's been hidden. There's some sort of money that they were trying to unfreeze. It may have been stuck somewhere. They didn't have the authority to take it, but they wanted it. Doing something to your character. Maybe claiming mental health issues would give them access. They want to be seen as upstanding community members, nurturers, matriarchs, or patriarchs, but they're absolutely delusional. The delusion runs so deep, they actually believed their own lies eventually. They told the story so many times about you being problematic that they forgot they invented it. They performed concern so consistently, they mistook it for genuine care. They played the victim so long they forgot they were the perpetrator. This is what happens when someone chooses performance over truth for too long. They lose the ability to distinguish between the two, but massive light is being shone on their actions, their history, something about search history or documented history. A governing body, lawyer, or investigator has found solid evidence against them. It not only shows they're guilty, but blows apart this mask they've been wearing for years and years. The evidence is overwhelming. Digital footprints they didn't know existed, messages they thought were deleted, recordings they didn't know were being made, paper trails they thought were hidden, financial transactions they thought were private. The modern world doesn't allow for the kind of secrecy they were counting on. Everything leaves a trace, and those traces have led investigators right to their door. They portrayed themselves as martyrs, as holy people, while painting you as someone disconnected from God. But now everyone sees what people will do for greed. There's sorrow in the family now. Discord among friends and family. A letter or legal package is coming through. Someone may need to ask you for help, assistance, or guidance. The irony of them needing your help after trying to destroy you isn't lost on anyone. The very person they tried to paint as unstable is the only one standing stable now. The one they called disconnected from divinity is the only one showing divine grace. The individual they tried to isolate is the only one who might show mercy. But mercy isn't owed. Forgiveness isn't required. Your boundaries are sacred, and you get to decide who enters your space. Now you may actually get contacted by police or government officials about an investigation. They may ask you to give witness testimony or a statement. They want to interview you to figure out what was going on with this person. You're not in trouble. You're one of the pieces of evidence they need to complete their 1,000-piece puzzle. Your testimony carries weight because you maintained your integrity throughout this ordeal. You didn't stoop to their level. You didn't create false narratives to compete with theirs. And now that truth is the most powerful weapon in the arsenal of justice. Every truthful word you speak contrasts sharply with their web of lies, making their deception even more obvious. Be aware of people coming around patting your back after this is done. "Oh, we always believed in you. We were always rooting for you." Those are the people who were chatting behind your back. They were the ones spiritually attacking you while saying they pray for you. The energy they were sending was venom disguised as virtue. You can feel the difference between genuine support and fair-weather friendship. Real allies don't need your vindication to validate their support. They stood by you when it cost them something. They defended you when it was unpopular. They believed in you when evidence seemed stacked against you. These are the people who deserve access to your elevated space. Everyone else is just trying to ride your coattails to redemption. The wish come true isn't theirs. It's yours. Complete abundance and family wealth is manifesting for you. While they watch in forced silence, the legal system has spoken in your favor. Something set in stone is actually going to be your victory, not theirs. Your victory is multidimensional. It's not just legal vindication. It's not just financial restoration. It's not just social redemption. It's a spiritual elevation. You've been promoted in realms they don't even know exist. You've been given authority they can't see. You've been crowned in dimensions they can't access. The physical victory they're witnessing is just the tip of an iceberg that extends into eternal realms. This is what they never understood about attacking chosen ones. Every lie creates a record. Every false accusation builds your case. Every moment of your patience during persecution demonstrated the very divinity they claimed you lacked. You didn't fight because you didn't need to. The universe was taking notes the entire time. The universe's note-taking is meticulous. Every tear you shed was collected. Every prayer you whispered was heard. Every moment of despair you felt was witnessed. And now the universe is settling accounts. The payment for your pain is being extracted from their life force. The interest on your suffering is being collected from their future. The compensation for your persecution is being withdrawn from their spiritual bank accounts. The person who orchestrated everything now sits in ruins. They can't seek comfort from their former followers because those followers are busy distancing themselves. They can't speak publicly because their lawyers have warned against it. They can't escape consequences because the legal system has them trapped. The cage they built for you has become their permanent residence. You want to know what true isolation looks like? It's not being alone. It's being surrounded by people who no longer trust you. It's having a full contact list, but no one who will answer your call. It's being in a community that knows your name but won't speak it. This is the isolation they're experiencing now. Not the solitude of peace you found, but the isolation of judgment they created for themselves. But the spiritual ramifications are even more severe than the legal ones. They use sacred things for evil purposes. They weaponized faith to serve greed. They turned community into a mob and prayer into poison. These kinds of spiritual crimes carry consequences that legal systems can't even measure. Spiritual law operates on different principles than human law. There's no statute of limitations on spiritual crimes. There's no plea bargain with karma. There's no early release from divine justice. What they've done has created a debt that will follow them through lifetimes if necessary. They've written checks against their soul that will be collected with interest, compounded by infinity. You weren't just a victim of persecution. You were bait in a divine trap. Your light was so bright it attracted every moth with burning wings. Your authenticity was so pure, it exposed every counterfeit in proximity. You were the test that revealed everyone's true character. This is the role of chosen ones throughout history. You're placed in situations where darkness thinks it can overcome light. You become the stage where evil performs its final act before the curtain falls. You're the catalyst that forces hidden things into the open. Your very presence is a judgment that requires everyone around you to choose a side, and they chose wrong. But let's talk about what sevenfold really means. It's not just about quantity. It's about quality. The money returns cleaner. The opportunities return better. The relationships return stronger. Everything they tried to take from you has been upgraded in the divine refinery. You're not just getting back what was yours. You're getting the premium version of what was always destined for you. Your suffering saved others from worse suffering. Your persecution prevented future persecutions. Your willingness to endure attacks created conditions for comprehensive reform. You were the catalyst that revealed the sickness, so healing could begin. Think about the ripple effects of your stand. Children who might have been their next victims are protected. Vulnerable people who might have fallen for their manipulation are warned. Future generations who might have inherited their toxic patterns are freed. Your willingness to be the lightning rod has grounded dangerous energy that would have destroyed many others. But this healing isn't your responsibility. You don't owe forgiveness to people who haven't truly repented. You don't need to welcome back those who abandoned you when it was convenient. Your vindication doesn't require you to become everyone's rehabilitation center. Let them find their own path to redemption. Let them do their own shadow work. Let them face their own demons without using you as their therapist. You've already paid the price for their education. You don't owe them the labor of their rehabilitation. Your only job now is to rise into the purpose their persecution tried to prevent. The universe has separated you from these people for good reason. Some separations are meant to be permanent. Some bridges once burned shouldn't be rebuilt. Your elevation doesn't mean you need to carry those who tried to bury you. You're not just being vindicated. You're being elevated to the position they tried to claim for themselves. The authority they pretended to have is being given to you. The influence they manufactured is becoming yours authentically. The community that rejected you will watch you rise beyond their reach. This elevation isn't just about status. It's about spiritual authority that commands respect from seen and unseen realms. When you speak now, different frequencies activate. When you move, different energies respond. When you decide, different powers align. You've been given keys to doors they don't even know exist. This is why they're really silent now. Not just because of legal consequences, but because they're watching their worst fear manifest. You're becoming everything they said you couldn't be. You're receiving everything they said you didn't deserve. You're proving that their judgment meant nothing, because divine judgment is all that matters. Every success you achieve from this point forward is another nail in the coffin of their credibility. Every blessing you receive is another proof of their poor judgment. Every door that opens for you is another door that closes for them. They have to watch you rise, knowing they're the ones who tried to pull you down. That knowledge will haunt them forever. The money they wanted, it's yours. The respect they craved, you've earned it. The spiritual authority they performed, you embody it. Every single thing they tried to steal or block is being delivered to you publicly, undeniably, legally, and spiritually. And here's the thing about divine delivery. It comes with protection. What's yours can't be taken again. What's been decreed for you can't be revoked. What's been sealed in your name can't be transferred. They can watch, they can want, they can wish, but they can't touch. You've been placed beyond their reach permanently. Look, you already know the game is rigged, and if you're paying attention, you know the walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. When you live by the day at the market's command, where profit and property rule the land to be heard, to be held, to be dealt a fair hand, these are the things that a people demand. And we hear you. The Obsidian Inner Order has paywalls. Yes, those who stand with us, who fuel this mission, they give us ammunition to fight the Archons, to push back against the machine, to go deeper, to uncover more. And as our thank you, paid members get access to a 1-hour live, personalized weekly group tarot reading, guidance, insight, and clarity for the road ahead. But kicking a man for being down on the floor, that's something we cannot ignore. That's why starting today, you can steal the Astral Atom exclusive daily newsletter for free. No paywall, no catch. Just join the Patreon free tier link in the description. This is the start of our conversation with you, and it's bidirectional. You can reply to any email we send you. We'll read it, we'll hear you, and we'll do our best to get an answer to you from the universe itself. If you can support, we need you. If you can't, take what's free. The Obsidian Inner Order is open. Now let's get back to work. Chosen one. They have to sit with their mouths closed now, and that silence is your vindication song. The community that turned their backs on you faces forward into a future where they can only watch your ascension from the distance they created. Their silence isn't empty. It's full of recognition that they touched what they should never have touched.